Hi everyone, this is Debono of the Fortune Teller Shop. I have been a professional fortune teller since 1990 and I do mainly tarot, astrology, palmistry and also Lenormand cards. And in this video we're going to discuss some misconceptions about Lenormand cards in particular. So I asked my Lenormand and cartomancy group a question. What are some misconceptions you see or hear about Lenormand cards and readings? And these are some of the responses. Cheryl says, I had family members say it's loads of rubbish and that I have no common sense using them. Yes, I've had this one as well. Usually family and close friends, when you start to do card readings, often they'll say that, they don't work or it's not true. But what I found was over the years, when you get better and better at doing card readings, they all come around. My family were very skeptical of my work and career. My family is Catholic. So they saw this as not part of their religion. In fact, they saw it as being against the Catholic religion. But over time, I became a professional and people started seeking me out and calling me and wanting readings and booking readings. And my family noticed this and they wondered why people were seeking me out. And I basically told them because I do good readings and that's why people are looking for me. And over time I did small predictions for my family members and these things came true, and so now they're all on board. Many of my family do not ask me for readings and I don't offer because I kind of know them too well as well, but occasionally someone will ask if they're going to get a job or if they're going to buy this or buy a house or move or something like that, and often I'll do a reading for those. But yes, family and friends, close friends, are usually the ones that are most skeptical in the beginning. In fact, in the early stages of my career, I remember my mother being very, very concerned because she thought I was doing some sort of spell casting or curse something. I don't know what she thought, but she thought I was doing something that wasn't very good. And I actually told her one time to sit in my shop and listen to a reading. When a client came in, my mother sat behind the wall, just quietly listening. And I did a reading for this woman and I helped her with some of her questions and her direction in her life and stuff that she was asking about her family. And then once the client paid and left, my mother said, oh, I see what you do. It's almost like counseling and guidance, but you're using the images of the cards to work with. So she said it's almost like guiding people or counseling or coaching them and also showing them different aspects of what could happen in the future. And I said, yes, that's what it is. It's got nothing to do with devil worship or anything evil or bad that she thought. I think the most common misconception about Lenormand cards and also any type of cards such as tarot is that somehow they're associated with the devil or evil. And we have a few different people commenting on the similar topic. So we have Cindy that says, I've heard people say that the cards are evil and one person literally shook physically when she saw them. Then she rattled on and on about the evil in them. Good grief, such fear in the world over pictures on cardboard. Well, we know they're wonderful tools to use and not evil. Willow says, I heard that the cards can be evil or carry bad luck. Yes, many people have said that. That seems to be the most common comment about somehow them being evil. We know they're not evil. The person that is using them, their intention can be evil, But that's like anything. That's like a doctor can be evil as well. That doesn't mean all doctors are evil, or doesn't mean that the tools of surgery are evil. It's the intention. So yes, some people can use cards and tarot and Lenormand for evil purposes, or to somehow manipulate their client, but it doesn't mean the cards are that. The cards are just the tool. Barbara says, most common are that they are evil, also that somehow the price is negotiable. I quote a price and the customer names their price, as if I somehow asked how much you want to pay for a reading. Yes, sometimes people want free readings, and sometimes they kind of don't think that getting a reading is valuable. So, I mean, I had a woman that came into my shop just a few days ago who she came in with her boyfriend, or a male friend. She was only in her mid-20s, and she said, you know, how much do you charge for a reading? And I told her my prices, and then she turned to him and said, I don't know if I should get a reading or a foot massage. And I actually said to her, why don't you go and get a foot massage? Because I could see that she was not valuing getting a reading. To her, getting a foot massage and getting a reading was kind of like equal footing, mind the pun. So I just thought, you just need to just go and, you know, come back when you are serious. A client like that will probably be unhappy with the reading anyway, because she wasn't really committed to getting one. So a typical client like her would sort of like do it more to just show off in front of her friend. And then when the cards get read, she may not like what the cards have to say to her. So when I get a client that is a little bit like just doing it to show off, I often advise them not to get a reading until they really want one. Okay, Deanne says, I just heard one today, a misconception. It's hard to learn and read Lenormand. Now, I have to kind of agree that it is hard to learn and read in a way. I come from a tarot and astrology background. I've been doing tarot and astrology professionally for about sort of 12 years, and then I discovered Lenormand. And what I tried to do in the beginning was I tried to read Lenormand cards like astrology or like the tarot. So for example, the Tower I read the same as the tarot. The Star and the Sun and the Moon I pretty much read like the tarot, and the Sun and the Moon I read like astrology. And then there was the Fish card, and I read that like Pisces. And at first I was just getting very messy, mixed up readings, and I was trying to override the tarot, the Lenormand cards with tarot and astrology symbolism. And then I had to actually go back, strip away all of that stuff, and go back to the original Lenormand meanings. So then I went and studied just Lenormand and the meanings and the way to place the cards, and that's when it started to come together for me. Often I think tarot readers are a bit arrogant. They think that they can just learn the Lenormand because it looks simple, and often they try to put their heavy tarot spin on it, and it doesn't work. So yeah, that was a big lesson. So they are hard to learn if you try to learn them the wrong way, but they're pretty easy to learn if you honor the system the way that it was meant to be. Ellen shares a misconception. It's all just wishful thinking and a waste of time. They're woo-woo and not scientific or proven. That's the eye-rolling intellectual side of dismissal and scorn, as opposed to the fraidy cat superstitious side of dismissal, fear. Yes, it's very interesting, isn't it? Like, most critics of card readings or fortune telling or astrology or tarot, most of them come under two banners. Either they don't believe in tarot cards or Lenormand cards or astrology because it's not scientifically proven, so you'll get the highbrow ones, or you'll get the ones that say, oh, you better be careful of those cards because they can unleash the gates of hell. So it's kind of interesting. Either they're pieces of worthless cardboard with pictures on them that don't mean anything and don't have any kind of any power or any sort of creativity about them or ability to predict anything, or they come under the banner of they're evil and they're going to destroy the world. Two extremes. Julia has a misconception that they are so easy to learn, even kids can use them. Well, yes and no. When I started learning Lenormand, I came to the system with preconceived notions of how to read cards because of other systems. So my background, as I said before, is tarot and astrology. So I tried to tarotize the Lenormand and astrologize the Lenormand, which didn't work. But once I stripped it back to the original meanings, then I found it much easier to pick up. But then what I found was actually using them with real clients was the next challenge. So it took me a while to sort of get comfortable with actually reading them for a paying client. So in the early stages of my Lenormand readings, I would probably start the reading with tarot, and then I would finish it off with Lenormand. I would sort of switch halfway through and I would carry on with Lenormand. But after time, now I can do full Lenormand readings and it's not a problem for me at all. So yes, they are easy in a way, but they're also hard in a way. I think the hard part is to actually make a story for the client and not just say it in about 2 sentences. As we all probably know, Lenormand tends to be very direct. So then your skill in building the story around the cards for the client to understand is also a challenging part. Another misconception comes from Ilona, that Lenormand is not too deep. Yes, well, a lot of people say that horoscopes are not very deep. But then if you go into deep astrology, then it is very deep. So it just depends on your level of depth, really. I find Lenormand can be very deep, especially when you get into the bigger spreads, such as the 9-card spread or the Grand Tableau. I find that they are quite deep, but very different to tarot deep, you know. So yeah, people that say they're not very deep often probably haven't worked out a way to go deep with the cards. When I have a client that I don't know that comes into my shop and I can get quite deep information about their issues or their situation, it's very psychological as well. It is a slightly different way of getting the information than say a tarot card reading or an astrology reading, but yes, I can go deep with them. I think it just depends on experience, really. So people that say they're not too deep probably don't know how to go deep with the cards. Okay, well, that was some Lenormand misconceptions. Thank you to all the people who commented and contributed to the post. This is Debono of the Fortune Teller Shop.